Hey guys, what's going on? This is your old pal CHH, and today we are looking at the new collection of Blu-rays for this series that I love so dearly. I'm talking about the Hatchet collection. Now, I gotta be honest, I got this, but I wasn't too excited. The truth is, I kind of didn't want to get this. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad I did, but I kind of didn't want to. So I went to my collection and I was looking for the titles of these movies to see what I had. I was like, I probably already have these on Blu-ray, so there's probably not much reason for me to want to get this. It is a nice Steelbook, I'll give them that, but, you know, I don't know if it's going to be worth it for me to upgrade this. So I was looking through my collection, and I actually saw that I have one of them on Blu-ray, which is Victor Crowley, the fourth one. The rest of them I had on DVD. So I was like, okay, you know, I've got them on DVD, so I can get myself a nice Blu-ray upgrade. And then I kind of said to myself, what if I can go on Amazon and get the Blu-rays for these even cheaper than getting this collection? So I thought about that, and it came out to be about the same at the time. And then finally I was like, screw it, just get it. And at first I thought this thing was close to $100, but then I realized what it was the Aeroscope website had signed Adam Green ones for this. So then I was like, okay, no, just wait. Then I went to Dark Sky. Then this was 60-something, I think. And then I was like, all right, I'll break down and get this. So I got the Hatchet collection. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Hatchet really quick. And I'm not going to try to make this a negative thing about Terrifier. I don't want to compare the two. But the reality is they have a lot in common, these characters. Not so much the fact that they're slasher characters, or they're, you know, created by an individual, Damien Leone with Terrifier, and then you've got Adam Green with Hatchet. But the thing about Hatchet is I feel like Victor Crowley walked so Terrifier could run. And what I mean by that is, this is my generation, right? Like, I'm 32, and I feel like when I was coming up in my teens and early 20s, the character that was the against the grain, against the mainstream, but the fans demanded it, and it was always in the realm, was Victor Crowley with Hatchet. And that's what I grew up with, and I found Hatchet in 2009 or whatever. It's funny because I used to see the DVD for this at Walmart, not Walmart, but at Blockbuster, and I would be like, what is that? What is this character? What is Hatchet? And it was about 2010 or so when I finally rented the movie or bought the movie, 2009, 2010, and I loved it. I was like, holy crap, this guy is killer. I didn't learn until a little later on that was in fact Jason Voorhees from, obviously it was Kane Hodder playing the character. But the thing about these movies is, I think that they're as good as Terrifier. In some ways even better. What I love about Adam Green with Hatchet is Adam really took the slasher genre and he satired it a little bit, but did it in such a loving way that you know he's a fan and he's doing it with love. Like, the characters in these movies are totally over the top. There's scenes in these movies that are insanely hysterical. For instance, in part 2, there's a scene where a guy and a girl starts banging in the woods, and Victor chops the head off of the guy while the guy's giving the girl doggy. And when he cuts off the head, the guy starts rapidly going on her, and she's like loving it, and then she turns around and realizes, oh my god. But it's done with so much love for the genre, like the slasher. You could tell that Adam was just this gigantic fan. And I actually read a story, a friend of mine told me this, because I remember reading something about this. It might have even been a Dee Snider interview where he's talking about this. But part 2 could have been something really special at the time, but it got pulled from theaters. I think it was AMC theaters, and Adam refused to do a cut of this movie to make it an R. He refused to mess with his vision. And if you look at the parallels today with Terrifier 2, Terrifier 2 never had to do any kind of cut to make it an R, because of the way the world is now. It's just like, you know, they were like, look, it's an unrated movie, it's going to be ultra violent. Go at your own risk. You obviously have to be old enough to go. But back then, they wouldn't allow that. So the movie got pulled because of complaints, and I think AMC almost got in trouble with the MPAA. So these movies kind of were ahead of their time for the culture that they could have affected today. And that's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because the legacy of Hatchet still carries on till this day. The fans are plenty. There's 4 amazing films. Well, I'll say 4 amazing films. I'll tell you my ranking of them. And, you know, the series is strong, and I love it dearly. It's my era. This is my era. The Hatchet films are my era. But the reality is, if you're younger viewing watching this, I don't want to sound like a gatekeeper. I want you to enjoy it too. It's for us. But my point is, I was becoming a young adult as these movies were coming out, and I was enjoying them. I remember getting Part 3 from Walmart when it came out on DVD, and then when Victor Crowley secretly came out in 2017, it was just amazing. So I love these films dearly. They're very important to me. My favorite is Part 2, hands down. I'll give you my ranking right now, best to worst. Part 2, Part 1, Victor Crowley, and then Hatchet 3. Hatchet 3 is my least favorite, but I find joy out of all of them. Part 2 is probably one of the funniest slasher films I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, getting into this review, let's just look at this release. So here's the Steelbook for Hatchet, and I gotta say, it's got a gorgeous glow to it, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest with you, when I got it in person. Really nice. You've got Victor Crowley on the front, in the swamp with his house burning in the back. Nice glow on there. Adam Green presents Hatchet, the complete collection. And from what I understand, I think Adam was pretty hands-on with designing the Steelbook. So, I don't know if it makes a picture, but let's see. Yes, it does make a picture. Very, very nice. Was it worth it for me to get this? And is it worth it for you to get this? The answer is, honestly, I think this has a special feature that could be one of the best special features of the year on here. So first things first, when it comes to the discs, it looks like the Blu-ray discs are basically the Blu-ray discs you would have gotten from the previous releases. I looked at Part 2. I was watching the special features, of course. I watched those, and then I was like, okay, well, let me make sure about something. So I put Part 2's Blu-ray from here in the DVD player in my PlayStation 5, and then I took my DVD of Hatchet 2 and put it in there, and it was the same menu screen, it looked like. So it looks like the discs are the same discs from before. So there's that. But there's a fifth disc, which is the bonus features disc. Now let me tell you the two things that are on here. It says exclusive bonus disc on here, and at first I was just like, oh, I don't know about this, because when you look at it, it says two things: Hatchet, Swamp Tales, and production journals. This is why I love this release and why it has one of my favorite special features I've seen this year. So the Hatchet Swamp Tales is how I think special features could and should be done going forward. It goes into like special features or documentaries about a movie. It was the most enjoyable thing I'd seen in so long. So what is it? Adam, the female producer, I forget her name, and the guy that I think was the cinematographer for the movies, they get together. They're at the Aeroscope Studios that Adam has, where he's got all of his posters of his movies on the wall. You can see all kinds of cool horror figures everywhere. They're sitting down at a table together. They got the cameras rolling, and the three of them literally just talk about the makings of the movies. And they talk about the behind-the-scenes drama that they had to go to, the funny moments, the serious moments, the trials and tribulations. And it's not done to where it's an interviewer just sitting there with a camera pointed at Adam and Adam talks. They're talking together. It was almost like a podcast, and it was probably 40-something minutes in length. It basically was like a podcast. It's something I know for a fact I will be able to go back and watch this just to sit back and be comfortable, something I could put on to relax and go to sleep to. This is how special features should be done for a lot of stuff. Getting people together and just putting the camera on and letting them talk. And they got into some really like behind the scenes stuff. Not so much like, oh, it rained that night. It was like, no. You remember that guy that came in and says, here's your budget, but you got to get rid of her? And Adam says, okay, well, I'm not going to take your money. Like, they got into some serious stuff. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. It's one of my favorite special features I've seen in so long. So that made this release worth it to me. I loved it so much, and it was brand new. They filmed it in October of 2023, so it was a new feature done, and I think you, the audience, will absolutely love it. This is the kind of stuff I think you guys like. Now, the other feature on here was actually really good too, the production journals. So there's a new insert with Adam in the beginning, and he goes, so what we did back in the day when making these films, especially the old films, was we had a website set up where we were doing journals on the website, and we were posting pictures throughout the day with notes, and actors can go, and the people involved would go on and post their pictures and what they did. So what we did is we took all this footage. A lot of you are going to see this for the first time, and the people that wrote the stuff for the website are actually going to voice over themselves what they said for this. So that was really great because we got to see all kinds of behind-the-scenes videos, pictures, and the actors and producers talking over what they wrote back in the day for the website. So it ended up being really good and pretty lengthy. So it's over 2 hours worth of special features on here. And I'm telling you guys, that sit down between the three of Adam, the producer, and the cinematographer, this is how special features should be done. Kudos to you guys. Adam, this was a brilliant... It's so rewatchable, too, so I can't wait for that. So I actually am glad I got this. This could be one of my favorite physical media releases this year. They did a great job on this. Let's look on the discs. Here's the one negative for me. The way the discs go in, they are stacked in there. I have them out of order, obviously, because I was watching them and going through them. So it's stacked discs, and they've got that really tough middle piece where the discs are hard to get out. So let me just try to get these out so I can show you the inside. Slightly difficult to get these out. That's the one negative. I don't like that. It actually hurts my thumb, too. So the inside has a picture of the axe on the right side, and then you got a great shot of Victor on the inside. So the Steelbook is nice, gorgeous art, but just know it's got those heavy-duty, you can see how tall they are, those heavy-duty liners for your discs. So that's the one negative on there. I'll give that a pass. This was actually a much more enjoyable release than I thought it would be. I just thought this would be me being... I thought this would just be me saying, well, you know, you can get this if you don't have them on Blu-ray, or you can get this if you don't really, you know... But it ended up being a release I think a lot of people will enjoy, especially if you're somebody that already has previous releases of this, because the features on this were actually really good. Even though it's technically two things, they're so lengthy, and you guys are going to love that sit-down with the three of them. You're going to learn so much. You're going to be listening to a conversation. It was great, guys. So I'm actually going to give a round of applause for this release. Ended up being way better than I thought it was going to be. So cheers to Hatchet, the true underdog slasher icon that I hope we see one more of one day. If you haven't gotten this, guys, you can go to Dark Sky Films Select, Dark Sky Select. I'll put the link down below to get this. I actually really recommend it. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this. So thank you guys for watching. This is your old pal CHH saying keep the Hatchet films alive, and I'll see y'all guys next time. Take care. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.